Okay, in this class, let us discuss equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium are of two types. One is static equilibrium and the other is dynamic equilibrium. Okay, static equilibrium means the body is at rest. Okay, stationary body, and it is continuing to be at rest. And dynamic equilibrium means the body is moving with uniform velocity, right, in a straight line. Okay, so the condition of equilibrium conditions are net external force acting on the system is 0, and number 2, net external torque acting on the system is 0. Okay, so actually this ensures translational equilibrium and this ensures rotational equilibrium. Okay, in this case the acceleration will be 0, and in this case the angular acceleration will be 0. Okay, so now let us discuss Lami's theorem. Okay, so this theorem states that the if three coplanar forces acting at a point simultaneously produce equilibrium, then the ratio of magnitude of one force and the sine of angle between the other two forces is constant. Okay, so let us discuss Lami's theorem. Suppose there are three forces. One force is F1, one force is, say, F2, and another force is F3. These three coplanar forces acting at this point O. Okay. O. Now, first let us complete this parallelogram. So this will be the resultant of F1 and F2. So this will be F1 plus F2. Fine. So in order to produce equilibrium, the vector sum of all these forces has to be 0, right? This is the condition of equilibrium, right? So F1 plus F2, this has to be equals minus F3. So this F1 plus F2 and F3, these are equal and opposite. Okay. So this is minus F3. Okay. The magnitude is F3. Okay. But the direction is opposite. Fine. Now let us discuss the angle. Let the angle between F1 and F2 is alpha. Okay. Now the angle between F1 and F3, call it gamma, and F2 and F3 is beta. Okay. This is beta. Okay. This triangle. Okay. Now see, if this is gamma, then this angle is pi minus gamma. Sure. If this angle is beta, then this much angle is pi minus beta. This much is pi minus beta. So if this is pi minus beta, this is alternate pi minus beta. Okay. And you see, if this angle is alpha, then if I extrapolate it, this one is also alpha. So this angle will be pi minus alpha. Okay. So let us give the names of this point O, A, B. From triangle OAB, what can we say? We know that the ratio of one side and the sine of the opposite angle, sine of the opposite angle, sine of the angle opposite to that side is a constant. So first let us start with F1, this one. Okay, this magnitude, this length is F1. তো এটার অপোজিট অ্যাঙ্গেল কি পাই মাইনাস বিটা। ওকে, সো আমরা কি লিখতে পারি F1 বাই পাই মাইনাস বিটা সাইন পাই মাইনাস বিটা equal to, now let us take F2. So if this is F2, this is also F2. Okay, this will also be F2. So the magnitude, the length will be F2. So এইটার অপোজিট অ্যাঙ্গেলটা কত, পাই মাইনাস গামা, তো ইট উইল বি F2 by pi sin pi minus gamma equals, এবারে হচ্ছে থার্ড সাইডটা, এটার ম্যাগনিটিউড কি F3, ম্যাগনিটিউডটা F3, লেন্থটা, তাহলে এর অপোজিট অ্যাঙ্গেল কি পাই মাইনাস আলফা। সো F3 বাই sin pi minus alpha. So it will be F1 by sin beta, F2 by sin gamma, F3 by sin alpha. Okay. So now you see, beta is the angle between F2 and F3. So we will write it like this. Okay. Okay, so this is actually this notation denotes that this angle between f2 and f3, that is beta. So sine f2 and f3. Similarly, gamma is the angle between f1 and f3, and alpha is the angle between f1 and f2. Okay, clear. So hence Lami's theorem is proved. Okay. Okay. So let us discuss one exemplar problem of Lami's theorem. Suppose here is an object on an inclined plane. Okay. This angle is say theta. Okay. Now a force P along the inclined plane manages the block to stay at rest on the inclined plane. Okay. The weight of this block is W. And in the second case, the same inclined plane, the same block. Now the force is acting on the block horizontally, Q. Okay, this Q also managing the block to stay at rest on the inclined plane. So this is W. So the normal reaction force in this case is N1 and in this case is N2. Clear? So see, three forces, if we write P like this. Okay, so see, three forces P, W and N1. Okay, these three forces acting at a point simultaneously, three coplanar forces producing equilibrium. So we can safely apply Lami's theorem. Okay, so how we will do it? What is the angle between W and P? This angle is 90 and this is theta. So 90 plus theta. Okay. So the angle between W and P is 90 plus theta. Now what is the angle between N1 and P? 90 degree. Okay. And what is the angle between N1 and W? This is 90 degree. Okay. And this 90 degree, and this angle is 90 minus theta. Okay, so 90 plus 90 minus theta, that is 180 minus theta. So the angle between, let us write once, W and P is 90 plus theta. Then N1 and P is 90. And N1 and W is 90 plus 90 minus theta, that is 180 minus theta. Now apply Lami's theorem. What can we write? P by sine angle between W and N1, the angle of other two, angle between other two forces. Then let us write N1 by sine angle between W and P, and third it is W by sine P and N1. So it will be p by sine 180 minus theta n1 by sine 90 plus theta and w by sine 90. So we get, equate the first and third. Sine 90 is 1, sine 180 minus theta is sine theta. So P will be W sine theta. This is sine theta, sine 180 minus theta, and this is sine 90 is 1. Okay. Now equate 2 and 3. What you will get? N1 by sine 90 plus theta is cos theta, and this is W. So N1 is W cos theta. ওকে, তা তোমরা যদি এটাকে চিন্তা করে দেখো, কম্পোনেন্টে রিজলভ করে করতে, ইউ উড হ্যাভ গট দ্য সেম আনসার। ওকে, ফাইন। তাহলে এটার থেকে আরও একবার ক্রস চেক হয়ে গেল যে ল্যামিস থিওরেম আর ওই কম্পোনেন্ট রিজলভ করে করা আসলে আইডেন্টিক্যাল, একই কথা। ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা, তাহলে এখানটা একই রকম কি N2 আর কিউ এর মধ্যে অ্যাঙ্গেল কত হবে? 90 প্লাস থিটা। ডাব্লিউ আর কিউ এর মধ্যে হবে 90, আর ডাব্লিউ আর N2-র মধ্যে হবে 90 প্লাস 90 মাইনাস থিটা। ওকে, তাহলে আমরা যদি ফটাফট করে করে দিই ল্যামিস থিওরেম, তাহলে এখানে কি হবে? এখানটায় হবে হচ্ছে গিয়ে N2 by sin 90, আচ্ছা, W by sin 90 plus theta and Q by sin 180 minus theta. So it will be N2, equate the first and third one. So N2 will be sin 90 is 1, sin 180 minus theta is sin theta, Q by sin theta, and second আর থার্ডটাকে ইকুয়েট করলে উইল গেট W equals sin 90 plus theta is second quadrant cos theta. So Q cos theta by sin 180 minus theta minus sin theta. Okay, fine. So this is, so what we will get here is 1 by Q will be 1 by Q will be 1 by W cot theta, right? Okay, so you see again here 1 by P is 1 by W cosec theta. So this one, so call it equation 1 and call it equation 2. So equation 2 square, squaring and subtract, square and subtract equation 2 and equation 1. So what you will get? One by P square minus 1 by Q square is 1 by W square cosec square theta minus cot square theta. So you get this one, right? So you get 1 by P square minus 1 by Q square is 1 by W square. Okay, so this is the relation between P, Q and W, these three forces, P, Q and W, weight. Okay, and also you get the relation between, this is call it 3, call this one 4. So if you multiply equation 3 and equation 4, what you will get? This is acha, n1 is W cos theta, n2 is Q by sin theta. Okay, so you get n1 n2 as W cos theta into Q by sin theta. Okay, now use equation 4. Use equation 4. Q equals W sin theta by cos theta. Equation 4, equation 2. Use equation 2. From equation 2, Q equals W sin theta by cos theta. So you get W sin theta by cos theta by sin theta. So n1 n2 becomes sin theta cancel, cos cancel, W into W is W square. Okay, so this is the relation between n1 n2 and W, the normal reaction forces and W. Fine. Okay, now let us discuss one thing, coplanar forces, coplanar vectors. Okay. Before discussing this, I want to discuss something else. Let me draw three vectors fine. So let this vector be A, this one is B, so if this is B, this is B2 parallel, and this one will be A. If this is A, this is also A. Alright, now these A and B, these two vectors are coplanar. Okay, they are lying on the floor. Now let us consider a third vector which is not coplanar. It's like this. Let's make it a bit tilted. Achha. Draw B as here. So a third vector a bit tilted to this floor like this. Okay, call it C. So a parallel one. Okay, so here also Okay. Okay. So you are getting a parallelepiped, right? Okay. So the sides for this parallelepiped, the adjacent sides formed by the adjacent sides of this parallelepiped formed by these three vectors A, B and C. Okay. Now let us draw a perpendicular. Drop a perpendicular. Okay. Fine. Call this perpendicular is H. Okay. Acha, the angle between the floor and this perpendicular, I should put H like this. Okay. Getting the figure. Okay. This is my H. This is my H. Okay. This is the perpendicular. Okay. From that you are getting the 3D visualization of this picture. Okay. This is actually H, the perpendicular dropped from the tip of C to the floor. Okay. Now see, the angle between the floor and C is theta. So I can always draw a triangle like this. The angle is theta. This angle is theta. The angle between C and the floor. Okay, vector and the floor. So what is the volume of this parallelepiped? Okay. What will be the volume of this parallelepiped? The area times the perpendicular height is the volume. Okay. So the volume would be like this. The volume would be like this. The area, we know the area of this parallelogram having sides A and B is magnitude of A cross B. Okay. Times the perpendicular height H. This is the volume. Area into height is the volume. Alright, clear? Now from this triangle, what is sine theta? What is sine theta from this triangle? It is H by C. Okay. Acha, let us take this one as theta. Yes, this angle as theta. This angle as theta. Okay. So theta is the angle between this height, normal perpendicular distance, the perpendicular direction to the floor, and C vector. Theta is the angle between C vector and the normal to the floor. Okay. In which A and B are lying. Okay. So here from this triangle we can say cos theta equals H by C. So H equals C into cos theta. Okay. So the volume will be like this. A cross B magnitude into C into cos theta. Okay. So you see A cross B. Okay. So you can write it is AB cos theta means A dot B, right? So you can write it like this. C dot A cross B. Isn't it? you can write this volume to be C dot A cross B. If C dot A cross B is a vector, C is a vector. If you do the dot product, you get magnitude of A cross B into C into cos theta, where theta is the angle between A cross B vector and C vector. So A cross B vector কোন দিকে হয়? AB যে ফ্লোরে রয়েছে তার সঙ্গে পারপেন্ডিকুলার, মানে H এর ডিরেকশন, ঠিক? তাহলে H এর ডিরেকশন মানে A ক্রস B ডিরেকশন, তাহলে সেই ডিরেকশনের সঙ্গে অ্যাকচুয়ালি সি এর অ্যাঙ্গেলটাই থিটা, তাহলে অল রাইট সি ডট এ ক্রস বি। তাহলে সি ডট এ ক্রস বি কী বোঝাচ্ছে? ভলিউম অফ দ্য প্যারালেলোপাইপেড। তাহলে এই ডিসকাশনটা থেকে আমি যেটা বলতে চাইছি সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে সি ডট এ ক্রস বি অ্যাকচুয়ালি ডিটারমাইন্স দ্য ভলিউম অফ দ্য প্যারালেলোপাইপেড, যে প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটার অ্যাডজাসেন্ট সাইডসগুলো হচ্ছে এ বি অ্যান্ড সি ভেক্টর। ওকে, ক্লিয়ার? তাহলে নাও ইউ সি, ইফ দিস ভলিউম ইজ 0, what does that imply? ওকে, এই ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে গেছে মানে কি? এই ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে গেছে মানে প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটা হ্যাজ বিন প্রজেক্টেড ইনটু দ্য ফ্লোর। প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটা কি চেপটে দেওয়া হয়েছে ফ্লোরে, তাই এর ভলিউম 0 হয়ে গেছে। প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটাকে চেপটে দেওয়া হয়েছে ফ্লোরের মধ্যে, তাই জন্য ওর ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে গেছে, মানে এইচ এই পারপেন্ডিকুলার হাইটটা কি 0 হয়ে গেছে, তাই তো? ক্লিয়ার? ওকে, তার মানে কি আমরা বলি এই 3D প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটা হ্যাজ বিন প্রজেক্টেড ইনটু 2 ডাইমেনশন, দ্যাট ইজ অন দ্য ফ্লোর ইন উইচ এ অ্যান্ড বি ভেক্টর লাইস। ওকে, তাহলে তখন চিন্তা করো যদি ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে যায়, তার মানেটা কি? ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে যাওয়া মানেটা হচ্ছে এইচ পারপেন্ডিকুলার হাইটটা 0 হয়ে যাওয়া, তার মানেটা কি? তখন এই সি ভেক্টরটাও কি ফ্লোরের ওপর অ্যাকচুয়ালি লাই করে গেছে। দ্য সি ভেক্টর হ্যাজ ফলেন ওভার, ওকে, দ্য সি ভেক্টর হ্যাজ ফলেন ইনটু দ্য ফ্লোর। ওকে, ইটস লাইক দিস, মানে এখন এ ভেক্টর বি ভেক্টর এরকম রয়েছে, এ বির সাথে সি ভেক্টরটাও একই ফ্লোরের ওপর চলে এসছে। ইয়েস অর নো? এ বি সি তিনটেই ফ্লোরের ওপর চলে এসছে। ক্লিয়ার? তাই জন্য কি এই প্যারালেলোপাইপেডটা কি চেপটে গেছে। ওকে, এবং গেছে বলেই কী হয়েছে, এর ভলিউমটা 0 হয়ে গেছে। ওকে, ফাইন। সো তা তিনটে ভেক্টরই যদি সেম প্লেনে চলে আসে তখন আমরা এদেরকে বলি কি? কোপ্লেনার ভেক্টরস। তাহলে আমরা তা বলি কি? সো দ্য ভেক্টরস আর কোপ্লেনার। দ্য ভেক্টরস আর কোপ্লেনার। ওকে, ফাইন। তাহলে যদি তিনটে ভেক্টর কোপ্লেনার হয় তাহলে কি হবে? সেই তিনটে ভেক্টর সি ডট এ ক্রস বি, তিনটে ভেক্টর সি এ বি কোপ্লেনার হলে সি ডট এ ক্রস বির ভ্যালুটা হবে 0। ওকে, ফাইন। তার মানে যদি তিনটে ফোর্স কোপ্লেনার হয়, F1 F2 অ্যান্ড F3, এই তিনটে যদি কোপ্লেনার হয় সেটা ইমপ্লাই কী করবে? F1 ডট F2 ক্রস F3 ইজ 0। অলরাইট, ঠিক আছে, ক্লিয়ার, ফাইন। Now let us do some problems, some few more problems about calculation of center of mass. So one problem is very important, truncated disk. So a disk is like this. Okay, say it has radius r. Now a part is cut out from the disk like this, okay, of radius r by 2. This much is r by 2. Okay, now you see, let us consider that the mass of this truncated part is m2, okay, and this part, the rest of the disk is m1. Okay, So M1 and M2, okay, together comprise the whole disk. Okay, so the for the whole system, that is for the whole disk, we know the center of mass lies at the center, that is 0 0. Okay, so this is M1 and this is M2. Okay, so for this M1 disk, the center of mass lies here at this point. So if this is 0 0, this point is r by 2 0. Okay, so and we don't know the center of mass of this one, the rest of the disk. Okay, so let us put it here at x0. Okay, fine. So now see, at x0 the rest of the disk, the center of mass of rest of the disk lies, that is M2 lies, and at r by 2 0 the truncated part of the disk, the center of mass of truncated part of the disk lies, that is M1 lies. So we know for the whole system, that is truncated part plus rest of the disk, for the whole system the center of mass coordinate x bar can be written as m1 x1 plus m2 x2 by m1 plus m2. Now the center of mass for the whole disk lies at origin, that is 0 0, so put x bar is 0. So m1 x1 plus m2 x2 by m1 plus m2. So it will be m1 x1 plus m2 x2 is 0. Okay, so now what is the relation between m1 and m2? Say if the total mass of the disk is m. Okay, so mass per unit area is m by pi r square. Okay, so we can safely say that m1, the mass of the truncated part, will be mass per unit area times the area of the truncated part, that is pi into r by 2 square. So it is pi r square cancel, so it is m by 4. So what will be m2? M2 will be total mass m minus truncated part m1. So it is m minus m by 4, that is 3m by 4. Okay, so it will be, put these values here, m by 4 into x1 is r by 2. Okay, the x coordinate of center of mass of the truncated part, plus m2 is 3m by 4 into x2 is x, the x coordinate of center of mass of the rest of the disk. So it will be m by 4 into r by 2 minus 3m by 4 into x. So m cancels out, 4 cancels out, so x equals minus r by 6. X equals minus r by 6, 3 into 2 6. Okay, so the center of mass here, the coordinate of center of mass of the truncated of the rest of the disk lies at minus r by 6 0. এটাই তোমাকে এক্সামে বার করতে দেবে, where does the center of mass, a portion of the disk is being truncated, so where does the center of mass of the rest of the disk lies. ঠিক আছে, okay. Number 2, the center of mass of a non-uniform rod. Suppose the density of the rod varies as ax plus bx square. Okay, so what will be the center of mass? So x bar is, we know it is integral x dm by integral dm. Okay, now dm can be written as rho dx. Okay, this density means here for the rod mass per unit length. So mass per unit length, that is dm by dx. So dm will be rho dx, alright, by integral rho dx. So put the value of rho, we get x plus bx square dx, and this is ax plus bx square dx. Okay, so let the length of this rod is L. Okay, L. So from 0 to L. 0 to L. So just do the integration. X square dx is x cubed by 3, so it is Al cubed by 3 plus x cubed dx is x4 by 4, that is Bl 4 by 4, by x dx is x square by 2, that is Al square by 2, plus x square dx is x cubed by 3, that is Bl cubed by 3. Okay, lower limits are 0, so I haven't written. Alright, so from here what we can write, this is, if we take L cube common, then it will be a by 3 plus Bl by 4, and here L square common, that is a by 2 plus Bl by 3. So it will be L, this is 12 4a plus 3bl divided by, it is 6 by 3a plus 2bl. So it will be 2. So x bar will become 4al plus 3bl square divided by 6a plus 4bl. It will be like this. Okay.